Welcome back. In today's episode, we speak with Fadi Malouf. He will be sharing with us how he went from a weak Jordanian boy to becoming a strong, internationally known natural bodybuilder champion and celebrity spokesperson. Nominated as Entrepreneur and Fittest Friend of the Year, Fadi is a lifelong, drug-free professional bodybuilder with 19 years of professional experience in the fitness industry. He is passionate, and his drive is to educate people to become their best in life and in business. In today's episode, he's going to be sharing the importance of tracking and measuring in order to get the results that you're looking for. And he provides helpful tools to help you along with the process. Learn this and much more.
Welcome to this edition of Peak Performers Podcast with your host, Thor Conklin. Thor will be sharing the necessary tools, strategies, and psychology you'll need to become a peak performer in any area of your life or business.
Thor Conklin here. Welcome back. We give you the tricks, the tips, the tools, the strategies, and the psychology that peak performers use to get better results than 99.99% of the population. If you know what to do, but you struggle with getting it all done, or you simply want to raise your game and get more done, this podcast is for you. Sit back and enjoy. We have an amazing guest for you today, Fadi Malouf. Did I get that right?
Yes, sir. Thank you. I didn't realize I was part of the 1%.
Oh, brother, you are way beyond the 1%. You are the 1%. I've had the opportunity to know Fadi probably for about 2 years now, and he is an absolutely amazing man, not only from his physical stature, but also what he's been able to produce over the last 20 years, both in the fitness world and the entrepreneur world. And I got to tell you, one of the things that I respect so much about you, and I was looking over the bio and actually even learning more about you, is the consistency that you've been able to produce with your physical body over the last 20 years. For those of you who can't see him at this point, you'll have all the references in the show notes. Here's a man that maintains a weight between 230 and 260 pounds, and yet body fat percentage-wise is less than 10%. Amazing. Let's start off with that. How do you accomplish that?
So how I've maintained underneath 10% body fat for 20 years isn't primarily because I did things the right way in my perspective, and as well as I didn't try to lose weight or body fat really quickly. I didn't try to put on lean mass really quickly. I never took the road of using anabolic steroids. One of my mentors at the young age of 17 told me and educated me a little bit about the human body. So he said, eat the best way you can, the way I teach you. Train hard. I took his advice and I worked hard. I ate at least 6 meals a day, and at some point I was eating 9 times a day. I was training extensively, consistently, Monday, Tuesday, off Wednesday, Thursday, Friday. I did that consistently for probably 3 or 4 years. My mentor told me also to shoot for 1 pound of lean muscle every 3 to 6 weeks. And I was a skinny, scrawny kid, so being fat was not an issue at the time. And it was just putting on lean muscle mass and not wanting to be a scrawny kid anymore, right? So over the span of 4 years, participated in the Teen Georgia, which is a state show, very big show, Mr. Teen. And I got second place in my first show. And I was immediately recognized by local magazines, national magazines. In fact, Lou Zewick from the West Coast, from Fame Universe, which was still a huge, one of the biggest bodybuilding fitness competitions out there, usually over 400 competitors every year internationally come to these competitions. And he actually reached out to me and asked me, what's your next show? Can you send us your workout routine? Can you send us some pictures? And at the time, I had no clue anything about marketing and promotion and being in magazines and so forth like that. So long story short, to answer your question, being in the industry as a personal trainer at the age of 17, being encouraged by somebody like Lou Zewick from the Fame Universe and other people, clients and friends and so forth like that, I guess your environment can be a huge impact on you. So there's a lot of people supporting me and doing well with the business and me personally succeeding. So that's why I actually started writing the first book, Strong Then You Fit. And it started out as a personal journal, just to thank the people that helped me get to where I am today. Some people say they're self-made. I think that's BS. Nobody's self-made. It takes people to help other people grow, and your environment is a huge component. Now, I do also have friends that have terrible environments, and they've really had to pull themselves out of that environment. And the closest person that I can say to being self-made would be a very good friend and client of mine for about 5 or 6 years. He's a hairdresser, and he's a 6-figure income hairdresser. Not that many hairdressers make 6 figures consistently. And he almost died several times. I believe he should write a book himself. He has accomplished a lot, but he's a very quiet, introverted, private person. And actually, so am I. But my industry, you're not going to survive trying to be quiet and private.
No, not a good marketing strategy.
It's not. But my passion has definitely brought me out of my natural introverted, so to speak, personality.
Interesting. And what I love also is you run 4.5 40 and you have a 47-foot vertical jump.
Yep.
Man, I can't wait until the audience actually looks at some of the pictures and go, man, this guy is huge. How can he run that fast or jump that high? I'm jealous. I'm 6'4", and I had a difficulty dunking the ball. You probably had your elbow up there.
I actually did have my elbow up there. It's kind of funny you say that.
You can literally get your elbow up to the rim.
Well, I haven't tried it in a while. I just turned 40, and I feel great for 40. But at the time when that actually happened, I was maybe 15, 16 years old. I was very young. In 1 year, I grew 4 inches. And that was one of the sports that I played in my neighborhood. We played basketball almost nearly every day. And I remember my friends buying those really fancy boots or the shoes that make you jump higher. I don't know if you remember them. They're like pumps or jumps. Like there's a platform underneath the ball of your feet. Yeah. And they were spending hundreds of dollars for this type of stuff. And it's like something in me said, I'm going to still jump higher than that guy. And I trained, I researched, I asked my brother, I asked my mentor, how do I become more explosive? How do I jump higher? And I just kept practicing. And in high school, I remember, still, I wish back then we had YouTube. I wish I had recorded some of the lifts and the runs I've had, and the vertical jumps, all the things that I used to do. I see kids now, younger guys, jumping over certain platforms and such. I used to do that kind of stuff.
Tell me, what is your advice? Someone comes to you, they're in their 40s, male, and they've made a decision. Now is the time I'm going to get in the best shape of my life. What do you say to someone like that? What do you tell them? Where do you start them? How does someone start the journey?
The best way is to actually just get started. People say, I'm going to get started, but don't. Many people may have heard it, that getting started on a health and fitness program is one of the hardest things to do. And if you do start, whatever you do, don't look back, don't stop. Keep going. You're going to want to quit. Don't quit. Keep going. Every day, your body's evolving and changing, and just have fun with it. So usually for men, they're usually very logical and like numbers. So I'll throw at them, are you tracking your food? Many of my clients and many people I work with, guys, are business owners. I said, can you run a business without a budget? They just look at me and laugh. I was like, no, not a successful one. I said, same thing with your body. Figure out what your macros are, how much protein, carbs, fat your body needs to start with.
Let me interject something. How do you figure that out?
Well, so there's several tools out there. They're free. One of my favorite, the one I use all the time, is MyFitnessPal. Log your food for 2 weeks, and then we'll go in there and check out the reports. There's 18 points. We can take a look at every item and take a look at what you're putting in your body. You don't even have to change anything, but the fact that you're being conscious and tracking what you're eating, within 2 weeks, people typically lose 1 to 5 pounds.
With MyFitnessPal, does it give you the ideas after you plug in that information after 2 weeks, whether you should be making more changes, more proteins, more carbs, more fats?
No. I mean, when you first sign up, it'll give you some recommendations, basic recommendation. It's kind of like maybe the old pyramid type of eating plan.
Sure.
Most what happens when people start logging their food, they're not eating adequate amount of protein, not eating enough vegetables. Their potassium is low, their sodium is high, the sugar is high, fiber is low. And it's a great tool. When you take a look at the reports, you're like, wow, it gives you kind of a line, so to speak, a threshold or your goal. And over a span of 7 days, 13, 30 days, or 90 days. So not only you can take a look at on a daily basis, but you can see your pattern over time. And if you're not used to logging and you want to improve your eating habits, it doesn't matter what you're doing as far as how much protein, carbs, fats. Just the fact that you're logging consistently for, let's say, 90 days is huge. Do it for a year. I did it for 4.5 years, like consistently. And because I did that, I established really great habits that I really don't have to start logging again unless I wanted to prepare for a contest and get like super shredded. I'm already usually around 6, 7, 8% body fat. I know how to feel my way to fit, or I can help a client feel their way to skinny, or I know how to do it with technology and without. Of course, my extensive background, over 65, 70,000 hours of personal training, and what was unique about my training is that I only trained you if you followed nutritional protocols. And back then, there were no laws about you having to be a registered dietitianist in order to prescribe meal plans to clients. And today, I don't prescribe meal plans to clients. I provide samples for my clients, and then I teach them I educate them on, first of all, logging, tracking what you're doing, and then kind of having the continuous discovery on a weekly basis.
I think it's so important because what I hear over and over again from the people that are getting great results is, look, if you can't get your diet in check and you can't get that piece, you can't go to the gym and expect to jazzercise or cycle it off or weight lift it off. You've got to take care of that stuff in the kitchen.
Of course, abs are made in the kitchen, right?
Yeah, but I think there's a misperception of, I can just eat what I want and let me just get to the gym and I'll just do another half hour of cardio to burn it off.
You can never outrun a bad diet.
That seems to be the overriding advice from everyone that's been on this show that is getting great results in fitness is the same thing. You've got to take care of it in the kitchen.
So if somebody were to ask me what's the best advice in regards to nutrition and exercise, I remember as a kid at 15 years old, my brother gave me a notepad and said, start journaling everything, your workouts and your food. I didn't know what the heck I was looking at, but over time, I can see my weight progress. I can start to get a better understanding of my eating, and all due to journaling. As I coach, and if I met anybody on the street, that's the first thing I ask them. Are you journaling? Are you tracking what you're putting in your body? Are you aware of what you're putting in your body? Most people say no. And there's quite a few people there on MyFitnessPal that are tracking left and right. And I've seen people consistently track for years, and they still have the yo-yo thing. I'm like, how could you still do that? There's still the few there that just are not willing to hire a professional and help them get unstuck. If you're stuck, avoid insanity by doing something different. If you don't know what to do different, and if you tried things, hire a professional. Let them help you get unstuck. They'll unblock you and start helping you produce results. So that's another advice. Model off somebody that's done it over and over and over and over and has done it consistently. Not only you're not going to hire just a professional that have lost the weight for themselves, but also have helped hundreds of people lose weight and continuously keep the weight off their body, for instance.
You figured out how to do it successfully. Along the way, I'm sure you tried some things that were not successful. Tell us some of the advice you were given that was really bad advice. You didn't really know it was bad advice at the time, but you actually took it. That concludes part 1 of our interview with Fadi Malouf. Please tune in later this week for the conclusion and part 2 of the interview. Being a peak performer is all about execution. Think of those people that you know that you consider peak performers. Some have had great plans, some are really smart, some just have natural talent, and others are highly educated. But the one thing that they all have in common, and I don't even know who you're thinking about, they all know how to execute. If they can't execute, they would not be considered a peak performer. Everybody has dreams, but peak performers actually execute them. This applies on the field, in athletics, or in the boardroom. If you're a business owner, a coach, an entrepreneur, or a corporate executive, and you're frustrated and tired of knowing what to do, but you just can't seem to get it all done, or your results are inconsistent, or maybe you're really good at execution, but your team doesn't know how to execute. Are you missing budget? Are you working 80 hours a week and it seems like you're just banging your head up against the wall every day? I know I've been there. Are you not making the kind of money that you want and deserve? I have a program that just might be the answer for you. This program is not for everyone. We go deep, we get raw, we get real. But if you're truly committed to mastering execution and for the first time truly being able to execute on what you know, as opposed to just trying to figure out more information and looking for that secret, we will teach you to become a master of execution. We'll teach you the science of getting things done. Simply take your phone and text the word BE Summit, one word, to 41411. That's Business Execution Summit. The keyword, BE Summit, that's what you text, and text it to 41411. Remember, it's not what you know. It's not even who you know. It's about what you're able to execute. That's what truly matters. Don't let another month, another quarter, or another year slip by with just average results. Text today. Thank you for listening. If you haven't already done so, please head over to iTunes and subscribe to the show. Also, please share this with family, friends, coworkers, or anyone that could benefit from this information. To make it very easy to share these episodes, simply go to my Facebook page, Thor Conklin, click on the episode that you want to share, and you can post it to your timeline. You just might be helping one of your friends on Facebook by sharing it on your page. You can follow us on Facebook and Twitter at Thor Conklin. The website is thorconklin.com. The email is info@thorconklin. While at the website, please sign up for our weekly newsletter with additional tricks, tips, tools, and psychology on how to be a peak performer. Remember, these episodes are anywhere between 6 and 35 minutes and are meant to be consumed during dot time doing other things. Until tomorrow, have an absolutely amazing day.